Okay, subscribers, so another special video. It's gonna involve same characters as I did last week. So
the surprise part 2. The surprising.
I was just gonna say the surprising.
So, I guess we can tell them what you're doing ahead of time.
Yeah.
They're going to be playing a card game. For silliness reasons, it will be referred to as the card game. But nonetheless, I think an interesting thing would be if we just talked about card games throughout this video. Over the years, what card games have you actually played? Not collected, but actually played.
I did play some Yu-Gi-Oh! At one point. I did do some Magic the Gathering as well. I'm just trying to think. I have lots of cards, because I've collected cards for certain systems for a while, and I just never really played them, so.
I think I played one hand of Pokemon.
I think I tried playing Pokemon at one point, but it was just...
Yeah. Well, I think I played one hand of it, and just could not could not understand it. But I also think I never bought any of the cards. So, it was just like someone else's cards.
Yeah.
Looking back on it, it's probably not that complex. You know, you would just have to tap the energy.
Yeah.
But for some reason, I thought you had to spend it. And I guess so did the people I was playing with. So. I played, I think, 2 hands of the Yu-Gi-Oh! I remember the one game I played, I had I never bought a single card. And I was given a bunch of hand-me-down cards. And I basically had to make them work. And one of the cards I got made all creatures on the field bug type. And I had another card that made it so that bug type could not attack me. So when I got I got those out in the game, and basically the person I was playing was like, well, confused on what to do next, and gave up.
I had lots of different types of Yu-Gi-Oh! Decks. Because I have like first edition, of like the Yugi's deck and Kaiba's deck. So, because I think I got them for birthday or Christmas or something like that. And then I also tried building something similar to Mai's deck, which was the Harpy Ladies and the Harpy Lady Sisters.
I didn't actually watch as much Yu-Gi-Oh! As I thought I did. Because you're going on about something, I'm like, no, I don't remember any of this crap.
Monkey's gonna have his little beanbag chair.
And then I played a lot of Magic. I didn't really buy any cards for that. I think the only cards we ever bought for Magic were at a dollar store. When you can get those like 20 packs or 100 packs for pretty cheap. I see them occasionally at the dollar store now. It's like 100 pack of cards for freaking like $2. part of me keeps thinking, oh man, I should buy that. I'm like, but I don't play. And yeah. But oh,
I almost probably could have done this sideways, but
yeah, I was trying to explain that to you without saying the words earlier. I was like, oh, you're not gonna have a lot of space here. And you're like, I'll make it work. I'll go, okay.
Lo and behold, I made it work.
So do you remember anything dealing with Magic? Any interesting games or whatever that you played that you want to talk about? I only remember a very small handful. Don't mention any names, just because the fact that, that's kind of how we roll. I don't know if you guys have actually noticed that over the little while, but we just try to avoid saying people's names. So, also, I have noticed something I forgot to bring up when we first started. We have now 11 subscribers. I have no clue who the 11th is. We don't know. Facebook has not told us. Or not Facebook. YouTube has not told us. So, whoever you are, welcome to the channel. Whoever you are. So, the one that I can remember is I was playing with two friends. And out of the group, it was me, my one friend who's not bad at the game, just, doesn't have a lot of cards, so he couldn't really have a great deck, and our other friend who would play competitively on a normal basis. That friend, let's state he was a little cocky. But nonetheless, what happened was I had a Mosquito in my deck. A Mosquito is a 0/1 flying with poison counters, if I remember correctly. And after you get to I think it's 10 poison counters, you lose. And I had gotten to 4 poison counters by this point. And I had a bunch of cards in my hand, and basically, he let me attack him, and before the attack went fully through, I just swarmed, I just started buffing the Mosquito. And then we had a discussion afterwards about being able to do that or not, because he no longer could defend it because he had chosen not to defend the attack. But he was remembering some kind of rule where you can't, once, that happens. But I'm like, but it's an instant card, and we got into a discussion, and we just stopped. But I basically did 22 points of his health in one hit. Another game that I can remember dealing with something similar was another guy who was dealing with competitive stuff, and of course the original friend who who didn't really get many cards. We were playing, and by him not having many cards, I mean he had lots of cards, but he had all the older sets. So none of the newer stuff. So a lot of hand-me-down cards, which oddly enough he hand-me-down to me. A lot of them. But anyway, as we were playing, it was supposed to be, because the one guy was competitive, he was not allowed to attack us for, can't remember how many, I think it was 20 rounds, so that we could actually build up our defenses and stuff like that, and but then he basically used a card that killed our creatures, and every creature it killed, it did 1 point of damage to us, and he won that one before the 20 rounds. I'm like, that's not how this is supposed to work. He's like, well, I didn't attack you. I'm like, yeah, you did. So we stopped playing there, too. I think there's only one more story I have I can think of. Besides, of course, yours.
Yeah, I was going to say, I only have I think the one or two, but most of the time they're when you and I played either together or I was there when it happened.
So what was... I know you're one. So you can tell you're one.
Well, we were, I think, playing Pentagram. But the one friend there, the one who plays competitively, had a discard blue deck, I believe it was. And I kept telling him, because I just made a new deck, and it had a card that I really liked in it. And I told him, if you make me discard this card, I will go over there and I will slap you. And, yeah, sure, whatever. So every time I had to flip over cards, I established eye contact, or at least tried to. And I would flip over each card individually and very slowly until he made me discard the one card I didn't want to be discarded. And then I went over there and I slapped him. He didn't think I was going to slap him. I did. And it's still funny to this day.
The other time that I remember playing with you and him and his girlfriend refused to read cards. She wanted to play with us because she wanted to do stuff that he liked to do, which is great and fun, but she refused to ever learn. She'd be more on her phone, texting people, and basically doing stuff like that. Which, again, if you want to do one or the other, it's fine, but you can't really do both. So she would do things like, this is not just, card game, and they're no longer dating, so. But anyway, it wasn't just card games, it would be anything. She would basically just never really pay attention to what we were doing, but she would always want to hang out and be a part of it, but never really pay attention. Yet, still expect us to teach her. I'll explain another scenario with that in a bit, but nonetheless. So, he's got a... I think we were playing the champion one there, the...
ECL or something.
Yeah. It's where you actually have only 100 cards. I think you can't have a duplicate throughout the entire deck. And you have a champion. And the champion, when he dies, he can come back to life if you pay extra mana for him each time he's been killed. So, with that, I'm going to continue the story, just hold on. Maybe at above everyone's head, you can draw a card. Like the
sleeve?
Yeah, you could draw a sleeve above everyone's head. Kind of like if they, they're thinking of their, what their sleeve looks like. But anyway, so, he's got this thing set up in which, he can't actually die right now. Even if his health goes to 0, he can't die. His one creature is keeping him alive. So we have to kill that one creature. But then his girlfriend gets into the concept that she's got cards in her hand, she has to get rid of them. So she plays down a card, which basically is a mind field. which wouldn't have been a problem if it wasn't for the fact that it is anyone attacking anyone. They take damage to the minefield. And you take 1 damage per enemy, per creature attacking. So, if you attack with 6 creatures, each creature is taking 6 points of damage. It is a stupidly powerful card to prevent you from full waving them. But the problem is that I didn't have anything that could kill him enough. So, as we're continuing further and going further into it, trying to prevent, him from freaking winning, basically he's also making it so that every time we draw a card, we take damage. So basically, right before my turn starts, I have to draw 2 cards and I have 2 health. I'm dead as soon as I draw a card. But as soon as my turn begins, I use a instant spell to basically prevent me from taking damage until the end of my turn. I draw my 2 cards, play my cards, and then full attack him, going through her minefield. But the card that I've played prevents my monsters from taking damage too. And that is the only reason we had won that one.
And it was an angel that he was using, so it was flying, and you didn't have anything that could attack flying, so I used an instant spell, plummet.
Yeah. Even though it wouldn't have mattered.
I think you were playing your sliver deck.
I was playing my sliver deck. But yeah, basically, I remember also in that game, I had a sliver that basically, if you sack it, if you select it or another sliver, because again, all slivers now have this ability, it does damage to something. And I think actually, what you did was you actually tried plummeting it for a different thing. He tried using it to attack me, and you forced it to plummet. And then he still prevented it from dying. But anyway. When we got to a certain point, he was going to... I had to kill something similar to the angel. It was something else that was keeping him alive. And basically, because he had also that Titan that was doing it.
An artifact or whatever?
Yeah, it was a creature, but yeah. It was a Titan or something that was actually fucking... Oh, sorry, swore again. Woo! Anyway, yeah. I summoned my sliver, and then he's like, oh no, I'm not letting you bring that out there, because he knew what it could do. It would basically, I could sack, 3 slivers and kill this creature. So he prevented me from doing it after he, I'm like, fine, that's fine. I killed it off. Put out another sliver, which I was holding in my hand for the exact reason. Put out the sliver, and basically, if you can't stop that one, which he couldn't, it basically can sack any other sliver to bring back a sliver or something like that. So I just brought the other one into the field and still did it. Oh, he was not happy about that. I think Tammy actually won that one.
Possibly.
Because I killed myself. I had basically full waved him to the point where he was near death. And then he killed me. Upon his girlfriend's turn, she died. And then Tammy had to just ping him for 1 point of damage, and he died.
I just play the survival game. I don't try to attack anyone or do anything outlandish. I just live.
Do you remember any other games that you... I remember one. I can't remember who we were playing. I can't remember any of that stuff. I just remember you basically were like, no one's fighting at all. And basically Tammy had a fog deck. And it was like a pacifist deck. And it literally just pissed off one person in the thing. Because anytime anyone attacked anyone, she would just stop all combat damage. Pretty sure you had like Larry Fogbeast.
Yeah, I had Larry Fogbeast. And that was in a regular deck as well. So I had 4 fogs and anything that gave me the fog ability. Why? Because, well, I like that.
So, yeah. Can't think of any other card games I've ever played. I don't know any other ones that I can think of that are past that.
I mean, that's like specialty card trading games and stuff like that. I mean, we've played at least I've played lots of cards, like Nerds and Cribbage and...
Yeah, but that's actually cards I was talking about,
Yeah.
Because I know that you have collected Dragon Ball cards, and you have collected Yu-Gi-Oh! Or not Yu-Gi-Oh! Naruto cards.
Am I doing like a tribal thing with it, or?
Yeah, whatever. Yeah. So that's just what would be on the back of their cards. Because Tammy's not going to be able to draw what's on the back of their cards. The funny part is the fact that if we were actually doing digital stuff, she can go in and grab one of the cards and actually put the symbol on it and then, copy it and stuff like that. But so that's the difference between like digital and stuff. Keep this in mind as we continue. That if you do have suggestions or stuff you'd like us to talk about on the Sunday draws, bring it up.
Oh, I thought of something that was kind of a funny story from work. So a guy came in and we were talking about this, that, and the next thing, and he saw my pen that I have at work, and I have one of those Funko Pop Loki pens, and that's what I use to write with at work. And I was like, okay, cool, and he's like, oh, do you like that character? I'm like, oh yeah, it's one of my favorite characters. I like the the Marvel version, and I like the actual Nordic lore, so. And he's like, oh yeah, well, I'm a fan of the Hulk. I'm like, going on about, I wasn't a huge fan of the one with the dogs in it. I was more of a fan of the other one, with Abomination and blah, blah, blah. And so he gets talking about it, and he's like, oh yeah, And then I mentioned, I'm like, so have you ever heard of, like, Agents of Smash? And he's like, kind of looked at me like, what? I'm like, with the Hulk and Red Hulk and A-Bomb and She-Hulk, cartoon. He's like, you know your stuff. And I'm like, yeah, I'm kind of nerdy that way.
The Hulk and the Agents of Smash.
Yeah, well.
No, it's fine. I'm just stating it out. Exactly what its title is. Hulk and the Agents of Smash.
So I probably made his day because he wasn't feeling well either when he came in. So.
Yeah, no, Tammy and I know a lot more about Marvel than we do of other things, but I know a little bit about DC enough to have discussions about why I like Marvel more.
I just know lots of random weird stuff.
You know what's going to be the really hard part? Figuring out what to talk about for the next, 4 minutes while you're doing this. And also figuring out what to talk about in the next video.
Yep.
Because, yeah, there wasn't as many card stuff that I could think of to talk about. So now I have to think of another topic. And yeah, maybe we'll talk about, I don't know, video games or something else, if you can think of something.
How atrociously bad I am at first-person shooters.
Yeah, you're not that bad. You just get motion sickness and it makes you stop wanting to look at the screen. I played games with you before, in which you've been very helpful with first-person shooters and third-person shooters.
I just find it's very entertaining that our skill sets have pretty much switched from real life to in-game. Because in most video games, you're way better of a driver. I crash into a lot of stuff. But I think it's just because my brain's like, it's a video game, I don't care. Smash crash.
Yeah, so it seems like that's what we're going to be talking about. Random video game stuff in the next one. But yes, I've said this once, I'll say it again. This is probably the last time I'll say it. If you would like to be sitting in the room while Tammy draws, mostly the Sunday ones like this, we could draw something that you even have asked for, as long as you live nearby and Tammy has okayed it, and all that fun jazz. You can definitely do that. If you have any suggestions on what we could talk about, or that you'd like to hear us talk about, please comment and we can look into it. If you have a suggestion on something you'd like to see Tammy draw, comment that too. She may not get to it, we had one friend who suggested a drawing he would like done, but it's not YouTube friendly. And you just have to keep that in mind when you're drawing stuff. Like, Tammy has thought about doing a couple different drawings already, but she has to be careful because she can't make it too mostly violent. It's the ones that Tammy were thinking of. She's thought about a couple of ones where she's going to, for some of her original characters, maybe have a little bit of blood on their face or something. Because they're vampires. And Tammy's just trying to figure out how detailed she wants it to be, because she doesn't want to go too far into it. But she still wants to get the point across. So it's that balance. Is there any other ones that I'm forgetting to bring up?
I don't know.
Most of the stuff I've brought up in past videos. If you want to, check them out, if you haven't already. Whew. Yeah. I don't think there's anything really else that I can think of. But there's probably is. There's just, I can't think of it the second. But the idea behind this is just, if you guys want to participate in any form, fashion, or way, please do. We're trying to figure out certain things on how to make sure that we actually see your guys' comments. It's been an interesting experience with YouTube. I don't know if it maybe in the past it used to be different and easier to see certain things, or if it's getting better, the game. Oh, I was looking at your phone and it just says something. I was like, what the heck? It just informed me that you've reached 4 gigs. So it's making a second video. I don't know if we brought that up before or not. I know I brought it up to some friends. But yeah, the way that her phone works is it records 4 gigs, which is about 32 minutes, 33 minutes. It records about 4 gigs, 32 minutes of film before it cannot record anymore. So what it does is it keeps recording, but it actually records a second video. So when we actually upload it, or when we check it out, put it onto the computer. Man, words are difficult today. It actually, it's 2 separate videos. The one video she did recently was almost 3 videos. It was 0.4 gigs away from being. Don't worry, that's going to be a quick draw. Do not worry. What were you going to say?
I was going to say something like that for the size of the files.
But yeah, it's going to be a quick draw. I still have not edited that one. Probably have to edit it tomorrow. Or later tonight, I guess. It is early in the day for us. So I think the only thing I have to bring up is that with the Sunday drawings, Tammy's just going to probably keep using either pencil crayons or Sharpies. I don't think she's going to do any other mixed medias. That will be for the quick draws. I think is how this is going to work. Right, Tams?
I think so, yeah, because some of the other medias that I have take way too long to record. And, well, I don't want to torture you guys, so. Typically, I think that's it. So that's part 1. I'll see you in the next part.